Good afternoon, everybody. I'm like that politician now. Good afternoon, everybody. And I expect a response, obviously. Let's try it again. I know it's after lunch and maybe after a few drinks, I don't know. So, good afternoon, everybody. Oh, I know some of us only flew in. There we go. I love it. That energy is what I want. I know some of us flew in just a few minutes ago, so some of us might be asleep still. For those online, I hope you can hear us clearly. If you can maybe just post in the chat. So let me try it again. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Franklin Kluti. I am part of Santam, the digital team. Some of you might know me from the Broker Portal webinars, and I will be your program director today. And let me say sorry for the graveyard shift. Somebody told me now it's not a good time for me because it's my nap time. So please forgive us. We'll make it up to you with good snacks and no alcohol afterwards. So welcome to the Smart SME launch for you. Can we please give a nice hand to everybody that's here? And I think a special welcome to our brokers, because ultimately it's you who will be selling this product to your clients, and you will bring in the premiums to us. And we have a beautiful panel discussion later on, and we'll talk about the who's, the what's, and the whys, but I'll leave that to the specialists. So our online participants, rather, you can post in the chat if you have questions. You're welcome to post it there. However, we have compiled a comprehensive enough, according to us, Q&A document, which will be shared with you. But if you have questions after receiving that Q&A, please feel free to reach out to us and we'll answer those questions to you. Maybe just a few on-site rules or announcements. In case of any emergency, you'll see on my left side, there's a door open, and then on my right-hand side also a door open. You'll go through those doors and then obviously straight to the reception area. For all the AI smokers, that is the vapes, just out that door around the corner, as well as your cigarettes, and the ablution facilities out that door, straight down the passage, the ladies to the right and the gents to the left. Okay, that is the house rules out in the open. So maybe just to go through the agenda for this afternoon. Not really a lengthy agenda, because we want to network also after the event if you have time. So Fanas will come and he will give a beautiful open address. I saw the 2-hour notes and I said, no, Fanas, only 1 minute, please. We don't want to hear your voice for too long. Leroux will then come up, and a very important role, the Smart SME product, and that is where most of the content will be discussed. And we'll talk about the value-added services. Then I will be doing the Broker Portal overview, and you'll see it's fairly straightforward. Then we'll go into a detailed panel discussion about the Smart SME. And on that panel, we have quite a number of specialists which are available and will be available for networking after the event. And then in closing, we'll maybe do some sort of dance afterwards. I don't know if the music is lengthy enough to do so. So without any further ado, our Chief Executive Officer from Santam Broker Solutions, Mr. Fanas Kutsi, please give him a nice hand.
Thank you, Franklin. Good afternoon, everybody. Just a quick note on the agenda there. The opening address, like the budget speech, has been delayed until March. I'm just going to say welcome and a few kind words. So to everybody here in Bellville at our head office that has chosen to join us in person, thank you very much. It's an honor to have you. And also those of our colleagues up in Johannesburg and in Santam that's braved the inclement weather up there. It's a bit wet. Thank you for making the effort to be with us there. And almal online, just before we started, we had over 2,200 online registrations. So vir almal wat ons by ons is daar aanlyn reg oor Suid-Afrika, welkom aan al ons makelaars daar ook. There's great turnout and support as testimony to all of the support we're enjoying from our brokers, and for that we are truly grateful, and we hope we can wow you this afternoon as well. Now, small business is the lifeblood of South African economy, and if we listen to the analysts, they're predicting a nice growth rate of about 1.7% this year. stimulated through nice low interest rates and, can we say, electricity stability. I'm a little bit nervous to say that. But on the other hand, there's still a lot of uncertainty starting, around the globe with things like the geopolitical tensions, the wars in the Ukraine and Israel, Gaza, Palestine, the trade wars driven by Trump 2.0. Won't say much more about that, but the global economic impact and what that is going to cause to us locally are still great uncertainties that makes it difficult for our small business clients. If we bring it closer to home, there is our new government of national unity, which we depend on for some stability on days when they don't talk about 17% VAT rates. So yeah, I'm guessing that that's also causing a lot of uncertainty about the future of economy. If we look at the impact of the still failing infrastructure, the crime rates and the impact it has when the businesses, new buckies disappear and so forth is also a big concern. And then the weather. So it's a tough economic time, and it's a time during which our small business clients can hardly afford, our expensive commercial lines premiums. And that's when rate differentiation or price differentiation starts coming into play. And that's when they start choosing different channels, those direct and digitally driven channels. And that's where we're losing the business too, because the embedded cost of our intermediated model simply cannot compete with that. And that is a concern for us. And our clients can ill afford not to be insured right now, given all of the uncertainty and the financial difficulty that they're in. So we had to think about how we respond to this, and hence the birth of our brand new SmartSME product that we are super proud of. Product based on a lot of grand research that Leroux is going to share with us just now. Product tailored to the small businesses in South Africa very specifically, and then with some great embedded additional value-added services in there. So to tell you all about that, we've got a great lineup, like Franklin has said, which I'm very proud of. So please sit back, relax, and be wowed what the team has in store for you. Thank you very much.
Yesterday we flew in this morning from a night out in Joburg. Even lost a few hairs there, but we'll fix it later. Right, Farnes? So, exciting new product, and you obviously have a lot of questions. So what will it do for me? What will it do for the clients? What will it do for the industries? What are the benefits, the conditions, the exclusions, the underwriting? I can answer those questions for you. But we have a very good specialist guy, as Leroux Malumo. He was part of the, let's call it the innovators of this product. He's the head product strategy development and governance. So if there's any questions after the session, please blow it to him. Leroux, over to you, please. Give him a nice hand.
Can you hear me? Thanks. Right, good afternoon, everyone. Really excited to have you here. As Franklin mentioned, my name is Leroux Malumo, head of product within Client Solutions. Yeah, getting on, I don't know, I suppose within the Santam sort of tradition now would be maybe a teen at 16, 17 years in the business. But I'm just thinking back to when I started off at Santam. Was as a service consultant in the Rivonia branch in Johannesburg. And I remember it was Segi Pillay who gave me the opportunity to join the business. And his words to me, he said, Leroux, I just feel like I need to give you a chance. Yeah, it's been a journey since then. And it just really is very fulfilling to me, or for me rather, that I can now work on things where I can say, how do we give the small guy a chance, you know? Say you went into bat for me when I really didn't know my left from right, when I needed someone to help me get up, and how many people are out there like that who need an uncle in the insurance business, to say, I see where you're at, I see what might be coming. I know you don't necessarily, you're struggling. You have it's a full-time job, just keeping your wits about you, getting a business going. But I feel I need to give you a chance, and not make it too difficult for you. So we're going to take you through just the thinking behind our new product. You would have seen some of this. Some of you would have seen this before. It is our refresh strategy, which speaks to our intent of being the leading insurer driven by data with the client at the center of everything we do. Obviously, the clients, there are many types and segments of clients. So when we say the client and we talk about the commercial client, having that client at the center of everything we do is very different for someone with a multi-branch, multi-million rand property portfolio versus what it looks like to put the corner shop at the center of everything we do for them. And to that end, we need to make that real with proper differentiation. And the key vectors there is strengthening our leadership position in South Africa, meaning that our dominance in the broker space is maintained, that we scale in terms of direct access. Really, this product leans into that as much as possible. Driving international expansion is another vector, not so much applicable to us in this context. Scaling ecosystems, definitely, just in the sense that, where partners come through and are saying, would like to add something on top, or of what you have, then we need a product that works for that. And all of this executed via a multi-channel model. Now, it's all well and good, obviously, talking about multi-channel, but the fact is, and I'll touch on this later, with business insurance and with our small business clients, the broker is critical in a way which is missed from in the general narrative in media and from our competitors. And so for us, we really see the broker as being the linchpin and a key area that you have to win in if you're going to win at all. So why did Santam need a small business product? So like I'm saying, from a perception point of view, direct marketers have driven this narrative that you can cut out the middleman and that's viable. But advice remains critical. And we had small business owners in a room. We took them through some of our thinking. We said, what's actually going on in your practices? And they gave us some really powerful nuggets. One of which being, if a client loses, if their house burns down on a personal lines basis, so long as they have an income, there's a way through to restoration and getting back on your feet. But if they lose their business, then their livelihood is gone. And the margin of error around, did I insure my business correctly? Did I get the right advice? Is the cover in place the way it ought to be? Is not something they're willing to play with so casually. An entrepreneur is, by definition, someone who makes a living by taking calculated risks. And they are watching us to see whether we think about risk in a way that is actually serious. So to oversimplify things and say, cheap and easy, just call us direct, misses something very key to how they think about themselves as small business owners. And they said, I need advice. I need someone who will make sure that the thing that holds everything together, my livelihood, doesn't go down the drain. that I have a way back up. It's very different from, can I get another TV just so that the kids are entertained? This is about, can we survive if we lose this part? Secondly, lapses. Obviously, small businesses are more susceptible to churn. If you just have R500,000 worth of contents and a few staff and 2 buckies, it's all too easy for a quote against one of those vehicles to get you thinking, well, yeah, maybe I need to switch. It's very different for a larger business where you're not going to quote in one vehicle and make any difference really to the overall thinking. So there's that vulnerability. So the value proposition to small businesses needs to be compelling. There needs to be that differentiation. Form versus function. Our standard commercial product is our flagship, and it has, it's super comprehensive. But to the point around which client are we talking about when we say putting the client at the center of everything we do, not everyone is necessarily looking for the full treatment. And how do we show up in a way to say that we hear you? Maybe all of these bells and whistles aren't actually even relevant. What is relevant? And then lastly, giving our brokers that tactical edge to retain smaller, less complex clients. It needs to be straightforward. Just great conversation outside just now. It needs to make sense in terms of the effort in versus what you get out as a broker. Servicing a small client and the time you spend with a bigger client, you're going to go through the same sort of discussions. And that's something I think Mike will actually touch on later. So in terms of the research we did, over quite a span, we suspended all of our assumptions as far as we could, try to make sure we're not sitting in an echo chamber, asking right from the beginning, what is even a small business? What is an SME? If I pull up things from the Department of Trade and Industry, which talk about an SME turning over 50 million Rand, is that really the picture what an SME is if I walk out of the office today and talk to your baker, your butcher? So what is a small business? We spoke to clients about their experience, our own Santam clients, about the sales journey and the servicing journey and what they're looking for. Then we had interviews with competitor clients to understand their experiences in different contexts so that we could sort of compare the two. Then we had interviews with brokers. Then having got to a conceptual framework, we undertook a design sprint, which is where you get a couple of people with the different kinds of expertise to say, pull together something you would offer to a client now and test it with live clients and get live feedback. And that's where we got some of those drivers of values. That's where the comment around things like advice is key. When we say make it easy, we're not saying dumb it down and make it more risky for me. Separate the risk element and the advice element from the ease of doing business. There are two things in our minds. Don't conflate the two. Then we validated a concept which came out of that with a community of business owners over a span of 12 days. We then also got quantitative validation to make sure we had representative views from a sample of small businesses based on a profile which fit what we were now sort of zeroing in on. The persona of clients or small business owners, very interesting in terms of what they said were their core motivations for starting a business. And, making money is not what came up tops. They spoke about things like to have a positive impact on the world, wanting to pursue a passion or create something new. And it's easy to think in terms of a core transaction and miss out on the core motivations behind why people get up in the morning. So, we had to think about ourselves and say, look, if someone is out there trying to create something new, how do we resonate with that sort of client if we are dogmatic and say, there's a standard commercial policy, it's the way we've always done things, take it or leave it. There's an immediate sort of disparity in terms of our values. And it's in these small ways where you miss out on potential clients. The personas, just in terms of the business itself, again, to the point around, is every SME, a business turning over 50 million, when in fact, what we found is that over 85% would say, it's 5 employees, including the business owner or less. 39% of small businesses are really just a one-man show. We had a view of sort of major categories of industry where you might find them playing, just to get a sense of who's doing what and their scale. And after, going back and forth with the qualitative and quantitative pieces of research, it really was distilled down to these 8 themes. And these 8 themes are what we see as being the levers we need to keep pulling over time until our clients start saying different. So what we'll show you today is a start. And the idea is that we then sort of start double clicking on these over time to say, how do we make these, how do we bring value through in all of these categories? So just going through these. First being things like digital tools, but what they mentioned was we're talking about chat-based interactions, not another app to download. Yourselves as brokers are SME principals and SME owners, and you wear multiple hats, and you see that in your own clients, that this person who's the key chef is the accountant, is the marketer, is the HR person, wearing multiple hats. And our ambition is really to figure out how do we make you as brokers always the smartest person in the room. So clients want access to tools which make things easier. And we want to explore how we might integrate some of these things in your own chat-based interactions with them. It's an exciting area, I think, really to delve into. For us as Santam, you brokers are our leverage. And we're saying technology is your leverage. What can we do, the uncle in the insurance industry, to maximize your leverage in servicing your clients? Secondly was making advice more accessible. So this was to the point of channel choice. And what they said there was that it's not about give me a choice of where I come in, but actually a lot of clients come in via a direct channel. And then find during the course of interactions, what they would like is someone to come by, sit down, have tea with them, and talk through their portfolio. Come and see for myself is what we heard clients saying. So how we can go about sort of closing the gap and enabling beyond just are you looking for a broker? Look, here's a list, but to really make that a lot smarter, a lot more intuitive, to enable those conversations. Third is affordability. Arnis mentioned the economic environment that we're all in. And just the fact that, being able to tailor your cover to get to a workable premium is key. When we talk about small business, the idea of packaged, flat rated all or nothing, it was tested, and it is not necessarily what small business owners are looking for, because then you aren't actually giving choice. But if they want to get to a degree of cover at a premium that makes sense, then we need to build in some of that flexibility. Also, getting something back for my loyalty is great, especially if I don't have to think too hard about it. Make it seamless, make it something which accrues without me having to jump through hoops. Fourth, personalization, the sense that you see for who I am. So again, that point of don't bundle the cover, and then I'm forced to take things that I don't need. I still want that flexibility. It's very similar to the point around don't make quick and easy mean or take it to mean that I'm saying dumb it down. I'm not saying that. I'm saying you make flexibility easy for me. I'm not saying take away flexibility. My business is unique. I want some flexibility so that I know the policy is suited to my needs. Making it simple. I've got a lot going on. I need a broker. But even though I rely on my broker to manage my portfolio and to place business for me, I'm hands-on. I am that person wearing multiple hats. I expect to understand the contracts I enter into for myself. So make it simple. The fact that I have a broker, I still want to be able to read it and say, I get what you're talking about. Our conversation needs to be straightforward, and cover needs to be straightforward. 6 was a responsive claim service, and there what was very clearly articulated was we're not meaning an instantaneous settlement, but responsive in the sense that I'm never thinking about what's next, who's doing what, where are we in the process? Yeah, can you be proactive about that engagement? Still, obviously, a great turnaround time, but you leading me through that journey and not me chasing you. 7th was more than insurance. And here it's the fact that my bank gives me smoothies and airport lounge access. My telco isn't just giving me data, they're giving me insurance and business loans. I want more from my insurer. I expect it, especially if you are in the category of leading. So these are things which are considered par for the course more and more. And we're saying we're hearing. And this is definitely a journey we're going on. Obviously, a couple of things which were ranked, access to funding coming out really highly. People don't wake up in the morning and say, ooh, I'm thinking about reading a policy wording or buying a policy. They're thinking about how do I get the funding to get the stock to execute, pull the trigger on this next opportunity. So again, we're listening. And beyond things which are immediately adjacent to just a claim, we need to be thinking about more than insurance, really saying what is more? What is a few steps further away from just that incident or that moment? And then number 8 was protect my employees, or as I like to say, help me to help my employees. And here the point was that my staff are a tight-knit group. We are family. I'm going to their baby showers and their weddings. And I have a very strong feeling of obligation or personal responsibility towards the people who are helping me fulfill my dream and get this business going. So help me by creating a value proposition for them. So in essence, a couple of things which then we said we need to hit the mark on is that where sort of a broad standard commercial cover is really expansive, we needed something that is streamlined. Where it is for a massive range of client profiles, we needed something that is targeted. You needed to be easy to understand. You needed to enable both direct and broker sales. It needed to be something that could sit within digital channels in a simple and easy way. We didn't want underwriting referrals. We don't want to create that friction. It makes no sense to generate that admin overhead for our brokers for much smaller policy. Added value and also simplified SASRA, where you'd find Sasria, which mimics the personal lines approach, even from a documentation point of view, and just trying to limit that bulk as much as possible. Going into the product model. So at a very high level, in order to qualify for this product, you must have no more than 5 million rands buildings and contents. And this is contents in the layman's understanding of the term, not contents as defined, but rather if you're thinking your PCs, your stock, we're talking 5 million rand altogether, and no more than 5 vehicles, because the intent isn't to cover fleets. And then in addition, to be a qualifying business type, because if we want to enable a straight through onboarding process, that is not going to be possible for particular clients or risk profiles where a second or more detailed understanding of what's going on is going to be required. The product model itself, if your client were to take a 360 standing in their shop and to speak to what they see in layman's terms, they could speak to their people, their property, their money, vehicles, legal exposures, and their time. Something which is we want to be able to quantify from a value point of view, or at least compensate you for where you are compromised in that sense. Where your people is then talking about employee injury or death. Your property is, like I said, buildings and contents in the broad sense. So rather than a line where electronic is an engineering class, we're saying, but you're talking to someone about the stuff on their desks, that's your property. And including that in that category as a section, if you call it. Your money, in the mind of a layman, you would not think loss of income is a property thing. And this isn't to say that we are decoupling it from the qualifying element of an insured property loss, but just to say, look, it might have been prevention of access. I'm not earning income. It's a money thing in my mind. So when we talk about money, we're talking about both cash and the income I'm losing as a single, call it, point in your conversation. And then your vehicles being your specified motor, legal cover being general liability, and we'll touch on your time, which is still a conceptual piece, but yeah, work in progress. This together with Sasria, as I mentioned, a simplified format of that, and value-added services. So just to go in a bit further, the GPA cover under your people, up to 1 million rands cover for death and permanent disability, up to 52 weeks on your temporary total disability, and then a range of automatically included extensions, things like your search and rescue, your mobility costs, for which there would be a set limit of, say, 10K, emergency medical expenses, really just a simple, easy, named basis GPA cover, which from an architecture point of view was saying, sure, there's casualty, but let's talk about legal exposures in terms of people walking into the shop separate from your people, and to be able to build on this over time. Your property, loss or damage to buildings, and or loss or damage to contents. Buildings there, we're talking about including glass in that definition, the ability to specify or say whether you want to include a geyser, including within that definition things like advertising boards. Loss or damage to contents, again, in the broad sense, we were talking about stock, plant and machinery, your raw materials in trade, and then theft. Theft would be on a forcible and violent entry basis. But again, if you have taken out something like cover for buildings, that theft cover specifically would include theft of building fixtures or damage to the building as a consequence. Transport of contents or movable property for which you're responsible or which you own. That's your GIT cover on a straightforward basis, fire explosion, collision or overturning. Again, yeah, keeping things simple. Just to clarify, these are not bundles in themselves where it is, okay, your people, it's an all or nothing. Your property, it's an all or nothing. These are all themselves modular, and you can pick and choose according to the client's preference. And then electronic and portable equipment, where again, we're trying to simplify and say, for the guy who just has a bakkie and tools, do we necessarily want you to have to specify each and everything? So we then call it a 30,000 Rand limit. You can say, look, I've got 100,000 Rands worth of portable equipment, and if there's no single item over a certain limit, then specifying is not required. But then with the intent to also build in that option for clients who do have more high value individual items. So trying to get that balance between the two. Your vehicles is, specified motor as you know it. And again, just to the point of being able to iterate and build on this product along its own trajectory, even where things are the same, we've built them out again so that as the guidance comes to you to say, well, look, we understand that standard commercial, you're doing things X, Y, and Z, but for small business, could you please consider these factors, that we now have that flexibility to do that. All of the extensions, or at least most of them that you're already familiar with. So for example, whether it is 4x4 cover or credit shortfall with residual, you'll see all of that. But then we simplified the overall structure by bringing in things which sat in a motor general section and just saying your contingent liabilities are there and part of this single whole. Your money, again, this was us saying, that single or rather intuitive conversation around different aspects of the business where cash and income are put together, but again, not a forced bundle. So money at the business premises up to a limit of 500K, which is your strong room, limit, and extensions such as receptacles, electronic funds, etc., and then money away from the business as well as an option. But that being a cash component, whereas income is then dealt with via loss of either revenue or fees. Or if you'd rather not go with that, we have simplified to say there's the rent categories where rather than putting them under sort of fire or something like that, we talk about money you lose on account of rent you are no longer receiving, or money you still have to pay in terms of rent on account of an interruption, and then wages as well. And for those up to a 5 million Rand limit of indemnity. And then lastly, your legal cover, which is our general liability, with costs and expenses, additional insurance, products liability, and a host of other things not stated here, but just, again, giving you a sense of the cover that is available. And so really just with these 5 categories, rethinking the lines of business, simplifying them, thinking through cover limits which maybe make more sense, but retaining that flexibility within each line to build as required. And then as far as the Business Assist bundle, you'd all already be familiar with this. We retain that 40 Rand per month premium for the full bundle. And that is Finance Assist, Marketing Assist, where for, an incident per annum or up to that limit of 4.7, you can have someone build out a logo or a Facebook splash page or a direct mail marketing campaign. Labor and HR Assist with employee contracts, CCMA hearing support, IT Assist, which is almost your own help desk. Not everyone, because you have PCs, doesn't mean you know what to do when the screen goes green. So someone to troubleshoot things with you. Business Assist, which functions as a concierge desk and can proactively give you sort of notifications around things like tenders that you are particularly interested in. And then again, just the fact that businesses need the same services that our personal lines clients need. Being a butcher doesn't mean I know what to do if I get locked out of my storeroom and I've locked the keys. So we need access to locksmith, plumbing, electrical as well. And then those convenience services like a home drive and license disc renewal. And this then obviously is something we want to build on. So please do send through those recommendations. The additional value-added services, which would have been familiar to you from the standard commercial, also applied here, where you have your optional roadside assist at 13 Rand per vehicle. You have included at no additional cost the 24-hour emergency assist and leave advice. And then I did mention just with the qualitative concept validation that we then sat with small business owners and took them through an unbranded sort of deep dive of the concept. I won't tell you who they thought it was by, but they didn't think it was us, which for us was good because it meant it didn't look like more of the same. And they said against what they figured was an industry norm for commercial insurance, that they scored it above. We're really excited by that. So it gave us a sense that, okay, we started off in the right direction, but we're not going to rest on our laurels. We want to enhance that uniqueness. They said, well, look, commercial insurance is commercial insurance. And yes, we hear that, but we want to widen that gap on the uniqueness. We want to really build out something that stands apart in the market. As far as future features, so we are getting this out as quickly as we can. Things which are rolling out in development as we speak and will go live soon will be the Afrikaans wording and documentation, and final elements within Broker Portal for things like docs on demand. And then work in progress is a banking partner collaboration. So watch the space. An online quote capability. We did mention that, digital accessibility is important to clients. They may not want an app, but they do want to be able to see, what might this cost? But it would make no sense for us to enable that for the client. And the broker still has to pick up the phone. So a quick quote capability with the ability to say, there's a quote on SmartSME that I can do for myself online, hit a button and kick off the fulfillment and binding is a big priority for us. Definitely close to the top, if not the top for me. Things like business owner travel. Small business owners to be able to enable something like, travel between Cape Town, Joburg, Durban. If my flight is delayed, do I really need to be taking out cover outside of my business insurance? You've talked about your people. What about things which cause delays, which are a cost in some sense to me as a business owner? How can we bring that into view? We have business insurance within the group. We should be able to enable those sorts of things. SME shareholders loan account. If as a small business you have loaned into your business a ton of money, in the event of your demise, when the executor comes around, they go to your business and say, well, look, time to pay up. We are settling things. And that can leave a small business that is just ticking over from month to month in a really precarious position. So there are products and value propositions within the wider group which would cater to such things. How do we bring those things into view? Simple cyber. You do not want cover for cyber interruptions, which requires a 2-page checklist about things and terms that no one understands, about backups and all that kind of stuff. We need to be thinking about cyber in a way that actually makes sense. Not everyone is some big company with multiple server rooms and all that kind of stuff going on. It needs to be a quick yes, no, minimal underwriting. We can do that with 2 questions. And rewards. So absolutely key. If we didn't say this is work in progress, then you could just chuck everything I've said out the window, because obviously then we're not listening. So watch this. And to the history around the release roadmap. So some of you, I suppose, would have been aware that we built out those 5 lines of business. Our tied advisors had access to it, as well as the direct call center for any call coming in, which sort of fit the profile. Just for us to sort of refine our process internally. You are now the big sort of are arriving on the stage to say, here it is. And for brokers who have done the training, the access is there to start giving your clients that option. And then in due course will be the above the line campaign, where the market will see this. So you at least have got the heads up. I've mentioned that the Afrikaans component is priority to get that out. Web quote and broker portal enhancements, and then your time and building out even beyond just travel and cyber, really thinking about quantifying value in a wider sense for our clients, and not just in ways which sort of make sense from a traditional insurance point of view. So the facts are, this is just the start. And I mentioned at the beginning those 8 levers, which we understand we need to keep pulling over time to dial this in. The ask from us is to say, how do we prioritize what really makes for value for your clients and for you as brokers? And what I'm passionate about is creating that visibility to say, here is the product roadmap. Here's what we're thinking about for 3 to 6 months forward. But if there's anything we can work on in particular, what do you think would be the thing? Just to get that kind of input, so that we're not, working in closed back offices and just assuming. But thanks very much. And that is my portion. We'll hand over to Franklin.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Leroy. Thank you. Please give him another nice hand. I know it was 55 minutes. I only told him 5 minutes, but yeah, we know Leroy is a talker. So I promise you I will not be that long. I'll be probably 2 minutes. And you saw, I quickly checked the questions online in the comments. It's a lot of questions. What about vehicle liability? Where's the all risk? And why only 5 vehicles? Why not 10 million? I don't have the answers. We will have a panel and they will probably or hopefully answer all those questions for you. So you saw the lines of business, your vehicle, your people, your money, your property, SaaS value-added services, and will it be available on the broker portal as well? Yes, it will be available on the broker portal. And maybe just a shy hand as indicator, who of us use the broker portal religiously? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and the rest not. I'll visit your brokerages, finance will sponsor me. So the broker portal, dear colleagues, no change there. Same username, same password, same display. The only thing that's different there will be the offering name, which is SmartSME, and then the product will still be a commercial product there for you. So if we look at the flow of the lines of business or the display of the lines of business, the very same for you. So you'll still see your property, your vehicles, VAS, your money, and whatever else is there, very similar to a current commercial policy display there for you. Then I'm not going to go through all of that. You'll see on the left-hand side there that your lines of business will display together with the conditions, exclusions, your coverables, your coverages, your insured limits, and whatever is available there. Also said with that, again, if any technical issues arise, the digital support hub is still available for support. 60111370, digital support hub at santam.co.za. Or if you are clever, we'll chat with them on the live chat, which is very similar to a WhatsApp chat there for you. So I'll quickly just scan through the slides there, just to showcase what the various covers or lines of business will look like. So what's nice about this display is you will see the value-added services there. Short description, but also the number of incidents per unit of insurance. So you can literally just log onto the broker portal, inquire, and the display will then be there for you. Impressed yet? If you are, please give me a nice hand. Then your SaaS will display also with the SaaS coverables and coverages. Fairly straightforward. You click on the drop down and the detail will display there for you. Claims intake and claims tracking. If you went through the recent claims webinars, we don't talk about claims registration anymore. If you do, Mike, there's a problem. We talk about claims intake, but shame if you do talk about the claims registration, that's fine. So no change there. There's still 2 categories available. If you have been deployed to the new display on the broker portal, you will still have your general display for non-motor and motor, and then your vehicle class. Also said with that, the claims tracking, also the same, where you will see the status of the claim. You can track notes. You can see claims documentation for your use. Brilliant? Yes. Give a nice hand. You see, I told you 2 minutes. Okay, it was 3. So I want to move over to the panel. I'll call the panel to the stage here, and I'll stand on the side. And please, panel members, if you come up, I want you to start sitting here. Fanas, if you sit here. I didn't call you up yet, Fanas. But it's fine. So I'll
Came up to make a point.
Okay,
Early on you said I'm losing hair. At least I still do have some.
Oh, we are weak, leave me alone. So our moderator today, so he's changing my program. So our moderator today is Fanas, the Santam Broker Solutions Chief Executive Officer. Please give him a hand. So he is today the broker, the client. So he is asking the questions. If he did not ask a question according to your liking, please fight with him afterwards. So I'll call on the panel members, and if I call you, please come to the podium here and sit next to Fanas. Our first one is Wynand Lategan. He is the Santam Broker Solutions Head of Commercial Contact Center. Mike Glasby is the Santam Broker Solutions Executive Head, Broker Services South. Ruwa Malumo, Santam Client Solutions Head, Product Strategy Development and Governance. Anton Kutsen, Santam Broker Solutions Head, Commercial Lines Underwriting. And then the thorn amongst the roses, Pranita Ramkasoon, CLCC Manager, Sales Commodity Business. And then Randall Martin, Santam Broker Solutions, Manager Training, Admin, support services in our Santam Broker Solutions space. Over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Franklin, and good afternoon, colleagues. It's a nice way for me to actually stand on the broker side of the fence today and ask you a couple of tough questions, right? So, Wynand, I'm going to kick off with you. We made the point right at the outset that small businesses is the lifeblood and the backbone of our economy. Do we really, from a strategic point of view, believe that this is going to help our small businesses grow and develop?
Yeah, so far as, I mean, if you look at the number of small businesses in South Africa, approximately 3 million. So yes, it's the backbone of the economy in South Africa. And then they contribute a significant way in terms of job creation, economic resilience, and innovation. Now, if I talk to innovation, it's adoption of digital and tech advantages, and I assume that you need that to sort of keep your business streamlined and keep the cost down. But if you take that 3 million, they contribute about a third to the economy of South Africa. But what makes it even more pertinent is that although they only contribute to a third, about nearly, as about 60% of it, they contribute to the job creation. And I think that's significant. For me, that was quite insightful. But another fact, I'm looking at the ladies in the room, the women entrepreneurs are taking charge of this sector. And many of these SMEs is sort of leading the charge and sort of our business-owned SMEs, and women is playing a big role in that. There's also talk about the inclusive growth of our country, so that's fabulous. So, but I mean, saying that, it's not a small feat to start a business. It's tough. I don't want to say it. Sorry, Mike. I'm gonna get the call out. Finance it. It's tough. In the brokers is also small businesses, and you know, there's a lot of things. You have this great idea and you try to start it up, but there's no income yet, and so you need to sort of start growing the business, and there's not a steady flow of income, and it's tough, and it's really sort of challenging. You need to balance all of this in an environment sort of shaped by, and you said it earlier, Farnes, globalization, this climate change, and we saw the weather patterns, and not in recent times in Cape Town, and now in the Clarksdorp environment as well. And then there's the quick, rapid tech shifts in the environment as well. So really challenging, and it's sort of highlight the fact that there's a real special person that that's required to sort of start a business and then sort of embark on this journey of realization of a dream. But it's not all doom and gloom, Mike. There's some positive. And I read the article that published by Business Partners around about September last year. And they highlight the fact that there's positive and it's actually quite optimistic environment in terms of the SMEs. And they believe, according to the article, that business growth over the next 12 months is estimated of standing on 81%, and that's about 15% higher than the previous year, same period. So if you take that optimism, and I'm getting to your answer, if you take that optimism, you couple that with the newly sort of announced investment of 100 billion rand by government, earmarked to sort of develop and grow the SME and the small business environment, I believe we might see an even bigger uptake in numbers in the SME space. And that's also sort of talking to the commitment by the president that he wants to remove the red tape of starting up and operating in a business. So I believe there will be more sort of to sort of underwrite this risk. But saying that, financial vulnerability and is always big on the agenda, and you sort of really need to sort of take that into account, because a significant event and a disruption can really sort of floor a small business. And it's anything from theft, fire, business interrupted, even legal liability. And I think that's where this product comes in and play a role, because it creates a virtual safety net, if I can call it that, for the brokers, and sort of give them a bit of freedom and confidence to sort of operate their business. And talking about potential of this product, and Leroy, you touched on it earlier. For me, there's a couple of key aspects. The first being the sort of financial stability and business continuity. Small businesses, if they have a setback, it's difficult to recover. This product, Vanus, I believe that we can sort of get them up on their feet quicker and even sort of limit the downtime. So that's for me is a key point. The second point, and also in the slideshow you presented, I can highlight that, is this accessibility of access to affordable and more fit for cover. I mean, the commercial product we're selling is perceived complex and difficult to understand, and it's not really set up for the SME in mind. This is designed, and Leroy shared that with us earlier, with the SME in mind. So offer in terms of affordability, flexibility, as well as ease of understanding, and that was said earlier. Lastly is empowering our growth, because if the small business owner can focus on the operations, run the business, and they know they are protected, then they don't have to worry about that. And we can look after that. And I believe that is freedom. By saying that potentials are only sort of realized, we can only realize that with our broker fraternity, where they can provide advice to the to the owners, because they don't have necessarily the skill. But there's also, for me, a secondary value add where they can share and impart knowledge in terms of risk management practices, because I mean that way they can support and help the small business owners sort of manage their risk assets. Okay, so there's a quote I want to refer to, if I may, and there's a and it's a quote that that was shared by ex chairman and CEO of the Willis Group, Joseph J. Plummery, and he said, "Insurance is the DNA of the economy. Without insurance, nothing is built, nobody works, nothing is shipped, nothing runs on tracks, and nothing floats. It rebuilds lives, cities, and companies." And for me, that's true, because I believe this is more than just the insurance product. It's actually a strategic enabler to provide the small businesses at the right time, at the right covers, a sort of opportunity to go through the entire life cycle of a normal SME journey, where you start at a startup and go through the phases of survival, even go through the phases of growth and maturity. So if we can help them and partner with them, I think we can do more than just help them to survive, but help them to strive and put them on the radar for the economy, to play that role as a driving force. Thanks.
Thank you for that keynote address. If you if you're not convinced, if I could just summarize what Wynand just said, yes. Thank you, Wynand. Mike, moving on swiftly, and Wynand and Leroy now used up all of our time, so we're going to have to rush the rest of this. Do you think there's something in this for our brokers to go and sell?
Yeah, very definitely. So thank Wynand also for that epic speech there. I do believe this is something fundamentally important that we get to grips with. Right now we're seeing direct writers writing these clients, and you know, how many of these clients will become big clients? I've heard of stories of clients that start out in a garage and the next thing, you know, 20 years down the line, they're mega big businesses. We want those businesses to start with you. We want them to start with Santam, and we want them to grow. I think this particular setup of this policy enables brokers. So particularly if you may be new to commercial, you've brought somebody into your practice that is new to the business, they're writing personal lines, they want to start doing commercial, this is a great opportunity. Simple, easy wording, simple covers, very easy for them to get their feet into commercial. And once you've locked that client in, as they grow, you can convert them to the conventional product as business grows. So I think it's a super opportunity. There's a huge market out there that we're really not getting enough of. So let's write that business back from all these direct writers, and let's get them through you into Santam. Thank you.
So thank you, Mike. While you have the mic, Mike, 2 or 3 top selling points that the brokers must take away today.
No, I think the selling points for me are the simplicity of the offering. So gone is that old, what do we call it, the multi-mark wording. This is a simple to understand wording. So there's this wording is the thing. The process must be quicker. Right now, the way it's designed, it's, yes, there's specific occupation codes, but there's 260 of them. There's lots. It's designed so that there are no referrals. There's no surveys. There's no, hopefully, won't have to discount. We can still discount. And we need to get the pricing right. So that's feedback we'll need from you. If the pricing's wrong, we'll be talking to our actuaries, we'll be talking to the underwriters. So we want to be able to land this thing fast, accurate, quick, that you can convert it. I hope I've summarized enough there.
Thank you. Really appreciate that. Laurent, you basically used up all your time earlier, and I think you did a comprehensive job. But so just confirm for me once more, this is not just dumbed down flagship standard commercial. You've actually created something very unique, very different here.
Yeah.
Summary, quick.
Yes, yeah, that's right. And it was a big point for us. We needed to build from scratch because as I mentioned, it's important that this product had its own autonomy. We didn't want a situation where if we want to make something work for small business owners, underwriters are saying, oh, no, but you're going to fiddle now with standard commercial. So that can't happen. So it needed to be able to evolve along its own trajectory. So it's a complete rebuild, not the same format and pattern, rebuilt from new.
Thank you so much. Our Mr. Commercial Underwriter, I'm very keen to know, Anton, how many risk questionnaires, referrals, surveys, risk reduction requirements, etc., have you got lined up for us on SmartSME?
Sir, are you picking on me?
Yes.
So it's all
I'm
about
being the broker today, remember?
Oh, yes. But it's all about speed. And it's all about ease of doing business, for honest. And I think that's what we're trying to achieve here by when we created this product, it needs to be frictionless. Is that a word?
Yeah.
But if it isn't, it's now. Yeah, it's frictionless. It's easy, a through pass for the broker. We don't want referrals because, ladies and gentlemen, we spend a lot of time on the client today, and I won't be earning my salary if I maybe just for a moment go to the broker. So why would the broker want to sell this? So when you go to a client, you go and collect the info. You come back to your office. Now you quote, you go back to the client. Now there's maybe more questions that the insurer is asking you. It's a to and fro. This needs to be quick and it needs to be easy. So you go to the client, you get the detail, you come back to the office. It is a closed, done deal. And that's what we're trying to achieve here. Because ultimately you have an acquisition cost for your business. And we want to try and minimize that acquisition cost, make it as easy as possible for you. And yes, thank you, Mr. Glaspie. As a salesperson, you took my, for no surveys. He said that, and I thought I can now get a hand for that. But yes, there will not be a trigger for surveys. This is going to be difficult at the Broker Connect session when I talk about surveys again.
Yeah.
But it's 250 business occupations that we've earmarked and where we are comfortable that there's no underwriting referrals. We've Leroux spoken about the qualifying criteria.
Say again, how many?
More than 250 business occupations. And with those no referrals, it makes it easy again. Franklin spoke about the 5 vehicles and the question that came up there. We don't want to insure fleets, ladies and gentlemen. There's a reason for that. With your smart SME, your clients, the smart SME is most probably a tenant and not a property owner. So the fear that we have there is that if you have now a lot of vehicles on this portfolio, it might just skew the profitability and the sustainability of this product going forward. We want to launch this product with confidence, Farnes. So let's rather have the focus here, and with your feedback, ladies and gentlemen, we can actually enhance and improve it, as we go along.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Pranita. Not only is she the only rose amongst the thorns, but by far the most hair as well. Representing our commercial contact center, I'm expecting hordes and hordes, hundreds and thousands of quote requests floating into the commercial center. Are you ready?
I'll be so excited. But yes, our team is fully prepared and we're ready. We've actually been part of this journey for almost a year now. We've done a lot of scenario testing and we've done a lot of business readiness testing. In terms of training, our teams have been fully trained, both our sales team as well as our policy maintenance teams, both on products and systems. In terms of our post-launch and the rollout, we are also planning to have we're also planning to have weekly sessions, just so that we have that additional support for our teams, because this is a new product. Should there be any challenges, the team needs to feel empowered. But yeah, so overall, we're excited and we are ready.
Correct. Now, Randall, thank you, Pranita. Randall needs to make sure that all of our brokers that wants to storm out of here and go and get trained on this new product gets trained. But Randall, before I come to you, some of the other questions, Ro, that's floating in on the chat there speaks to, is there going to be a comprehensive Q&A, a comprehensive product comparison? Can we have your presentation? Are there going to be brochures? Maybe just a quick bit of info on what you've got available for us. Training obviously being the most important, so we're going to leave the most important for last, Randall.
So short answer, yes. A product comparison desk reference will be made available, so you can see exactly how the two products compare, as well as brochure material. So we will be getting that out to our brokers.
Correct. Right. And then Randall, how, when, how do we access the training? When's it going to happen?
Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Farnes. The
You've
training.
actually got some slides for us, if I.
Oh, yes, I actually do. Just to help me remember all of the detail. Very briefly, that is the training rollout plan. The training is in 2 parts. Everybody must do the product part. The system training part is only for those brokers that work directly on the Santam Policy Center system. So I'm not quite sure who of you has that mandate, that access, but if not, then you only need to complete the product part. The product is via e-learning. Firstly, because it would be the fastest way to roll it out to the entire country. And also the fact that it will enable the learner, the broker, to conduct and complete that training at their own speed, at their own pace, and at their own time. This wasn't part of, it's about roughly a day, just a little over a day's worth of, in terms of hours worth of training, because this is a whole new product. It's not simply where we're going to train you around what are the differences between the commercial. We we sort of, as Leroux indicated, we started clean. And similarly with the training, we start from the introduction, what's the intention of the product, and then we'll go into the various product lines, your money, your people, and the like. That is available on the Santam Learning Academy platform. You don't need to phone or email anybody to get access. If you've got access to the broker portal, you will have access to the Santam Learning Academy platform. You, as simple as search SmartSME, whatever when it comes up, you click on it, and that course is now available for you to complete. We do still have support if you do run into problems, and the support is detailed on the Learning Academy itself. And yeah, make use of that in case there's any questions or issues you may encounter. Hopefully that answers everybody's question in terms of the training.
Great, thank you, Randall. All right, Mike, as our first line and last line of defense, we've got our relationship managers or our broker consultants out there. Are they equipped? Do they know and understand the product?
Yes, so they've also come along the journey a little bit. Yeah, they've been exposed to the product as it's been developed, but they've also got a training course that they've also been made available to them. They should have done that course. They haven't. They better have done it because the broker's going to ask you tomorrow. And no, so your relationship manager will be able to help you with any questions you've got about the product itself, about the training, how to get access. If you're not sure, please, your relationship manager is available to you. I think also they're your source of your point of contact. If there's an issue with the price or something like that, please talk to us. We need that feedback so we can give it in, and we can get get these conversions going. So thank you.
Correct.
They're there to help you.
Thank you, Mike. And then Leroux, last question. So we're going to do some training. You've done a great presentation. I've seen a lot of the material you've developed, but if somebody now has a question that's really not covered anywhere in there, what then?
Yep. So we have our email address, which I'll be checking. So that's product.development@santam.co.za. Any question around the product, any recommendations or suggestions, please send them through. As I mentioned, we want to collaborate as far as prioritization of roadmap issues. We don't want to simply say, here it is, but to also give an opportunity to say, well, out of these three, A, B, C, C would be preferable if you can get that out within the next 6 months. So that's product.development@santam.co.za.
Great, thank you so much. And then team, as the broker today, with my broker hat on, I want to say well done. You've developed something nice and exciting for us. We can't wait to go and sell it on your behalf, right? Thank you. Thank you, Franklin.
Thank you so much, dear panel members. Some of you were very nervous. I shame, condolences, but well done. Please give them a nice hand. And then also our moderator, Mr. Farner's broker client, Kutsia. Please give him also a nice hand. I've seen quite a number of questions online. Where do I get more product training? What about the product? How will it be? What about the training? How will it be done? How do I get access? Can I convert my current commercial book to the new SmartSME? All those questions, if you want more, there will be a document shared with you. And like Leroux said, product.development@santam.co.za. So product.development@santam.co.za. He will man those thousands of emails and he will respond to them himself. I think brilliantly well done. And I think we're almost done for the afternoon, but maybe just a few announcements before we depart. If you have parked at Tiger Valley Shopping Center, there are parking vouchers at the reception area for you. And then just a request for our panelists to please stay behind just for a quick debrief and a picture op. And then I think it's a big thank you to our brokers for taking time out or time away from your clients to come and sit and listen to us selling once a new product, but an exciting new product to you, which you will obviously take to the market and with our support. So a nice hand to our brokers online, on site here, as well as at Alice Lane. And then we cannot not say thank you to the project team. Leroux and his team, and if I mention, please, if you can stand, Leroux and your team, the complete project team, value-added services, Leroux, so Kyle, Leroux, change management, Linky, our trainers, very important role they play in making sure that knowledge is shared amongst the brokers as well as the consultants. I ask you to stand, please. And let me see our events team for arranging this session today, our tech people, our photographer, our program director, very importantly, the beautiful program director this afternoon. Can we please give all of us a nice hand? And again, I want to say, if you have any issues once you work on the broker portal, Me Selling Digital, if you do have issues on the broker portal, please, digital support hub at santam.co.za, chat with a consultant via live chat, 0860 and that email address which Leroux has shared with us, product.development@santam.co.za. Dear colleagues, you have an opportunity to network, ask your questions. Finance is here till 7 tonight. Ask the questions. Value-added services. Kyle is here. Leroux is here. Change management is here. Training is here with all the training facilitators. So please go out, enjoy yourself. Don't get stuck in traffic. We'll be here till 7. Thank you so much for joining us online as well as on site. Have a good day.